The Kiwanis Club of Nashville is delighted to honor Dr. Ming Wang as 2015's Outstanding Nashvillian of the Year. I give you Dr. Ming Wang.
Thank you, Kenny, and thank you, Big George. And four group of folks I want to express my appreciation to. Number one is to members of the Kiwanis Club, a club that focuses on taking care of children. That's the mission of this club, and all of us have the soft spot in our heart for children. So I'm very appreciative to members of Kiwanis Club and also for choosing me for this honor. I'm humbled, honored, and we appreciate it. Second group of folks I want to thank is my own parents. As many lectures that I've given over the years regarding science and faith, foundation, and I believe this is the first time my dad is able to hear this. So ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jensen Wang, Ms. Allen Shu. Many of you have read part of this book, From Darkness to Light. It talks quite a bit about what my parents have done when I was a kid, escaping communist persecution, deportation during Cultural Revolution, or Cultural Holocaust. They have done so much, as all of your parents have done for you. Now they are getting to the ages. My dad has developed advanced Parkinson's. And he can only comprehend part of what we are going through today, the significance. And my wife, Anna, which is the next person I want to thank to, and thank you, Anna, for all your support and love. Anna and I made a big decision to move our parents in with us last year. We know that we're going to experience loss of some freedom, and that we have to contend with parents. Sometimes they have different minds how they want to live when they live in the same house. And actually we debated, and finally we settled on a plan that we're going to put our parents on the second floor. And we built an elevator, because Dad couldn't walk on the stairs, so he had to ride the elevator. But it's a lockable elevator, we have the key. No, just kidding. Dad, sorry, it's locked. No, but I think all of us, our parents have spent so much time, effort, and love to having raised us. We could never do more, do enough for our own parents. And so that's what and then I decided to do, and they're living with us every day. The third group of people I want to thank is the country China, country United States. China, a country that I grew up, has helped me build character, determination. As this book talked about in the beginning, I went through a very difficult time during Cultural Revolution, when at age 14, I was cut off of all education and faced with this devastating fate of deportation and life sentence to the poorest part of the country. And I played music instrument, learned dance, all to avoid the deportation, to trying to get into the communist song and dance troupe. it's interesting that these days in America, friends sometimes say, well, Ming, it's nice you have a hobby, you can dance, you can play an instrument. You know what I say? I didn't learn these as hobbies. I learned it to survive. China, a country of 5,000 years, has helped me build the character, the resilience, the determination that my parents taught me. There's always hope, however difficult the situation is. And it's my hope that the book From Darkness to Sight, the story that grew up in China in difficult times, will encourage more people in America today and in China and worldwide that no matter how difficult your situation is, don't give up hope. America is a country that has given me the opportunity, having given me the Christian faith, made me realize that life is not just about science, it's also about faith. Faith and science can work together. It's 1 + 1 more than 2. I learned that at the end of the day, as an immigrant, it's not about how much one can benefit from this great country, what it offers, the security, the education, the opportunity. If anyone doubts that America is a magnet that attracts people and is the greatest country on this planet, all you have to look is the fact that America has an immigration problem but does not have an immigration problem. Everybody wants to live here because it resonates fundamentally with the basic human need for security, love, and safety, and family. So, as an immigrant, as Kenny said, that I've been involved in many organizations, Tennessee Immigrant and Minority Business Group, a group that I helped funded. The mission of the group is to help Tennessee immigrant and minority businesses to do more for America. And the Chinese Chamber of Commerce I founded to help Tennessee export back to China what we have to offer. No matter who is the president, next president, at the end of the day, as a country, America, if we don't have money, we cannot do what we need to do, which is healthcare, jobs, and education. And the way to do it is to have the money, the fund needed. And the fund is created through positive foreign trade, not negative. You got to export more than buying. That's what we're facing as a country. We need to understand other countries. Understand other countries and cultures no longer just the right thing to do as the world citizen, is now the economic necessity for us. And I feel, as Kenny mentioned, I do mention this to immigrants, minority groups all the time on the meetings. The problem that we're facing, the immigrants and viewpoints are different from folks being here, folks coming, all this negative rhetoric and energy. But I feel we can turn it around to positive energy by not asking what each other can do for another side, but all we, together, can do for America. If immigrants focus on what we can do to my adopted country, America, then we turn the energy into positive, and we make this country great and greater. So I feel that I'm so blessed being able to live in this country. And to be honest, as I was preparing to this little talk for Kiwanis Club, I was thinking, so much bad things happen in our society. Killing cops, the drugs, the violence, the guns, and the people killing each other. I just said that many of these folks, if they just visit so much parts of the world today to see freedom that we take for granted here in America, still not available in so much part of the world. In comparison, we realize how blessed we are here. We've got it so good in America. Just don't screw it up. And I feel it is my duty and calling as an immigrant to pay back. What drives me to pay back is this sense of appreciation of having experience of once having not. Now I have something I feel I want to give back. And the last group of folks I want to thank, one person I want to thank, is God. In America, I found God, found that life has a larger purpose than what we do daily. That I always say science and faith can work together. Science and faith are the two different sides of the same coin being the life itself. Science, we study cells, genetics, genes. Science is about what things are, and the faith is about why things are. By combining science and faith together, we can be better human beings, we can make our society better. So I feel it's my duty also, being a scientist and a Christian, to combine them, to encourage the dialogue between these two camps. And, often I got a question asked to me that, Ming, why you work so hard to involve in medical charity? I have to admit it's not some glorious goal or something that I do it because whatever, but I do it because, who appreciates sight the most? Those who are blind. Who appreciate freedom the most? Those who used to not have freedom. So what's facing America today, the challenge we're facing while we still have freedom is no less than, can we truly appreciate freedom and protect it? Don't let it get eroded away. Can we rise above, become people, first time perhaps in human history, that appreciate something as precious as freedom without having to lose it? So in my case, I appreciate the opportunity when I see patients suffering, being blind. The main reason that I want to work hard to help them in suffering is because I have suffered myself as well. I feel emotionally I can connect to them when I see Maria, Gill, Francisco, many other blind orphan children we helped. It's because I was in their shoes one time. I can go beyond the normal duty as a physician to truly care for that person emotionally. So having suffered gave me the strongest impetus of helping someone who is suffering. And I want to close by just tell you the story of one such blind orphan. This was several years ago. I got an email from a student who was doing volunteer work in India. She found that there was this child who was left in a train station to die. The child was 4.5 years old. And they found that the child's name is Gill. She was left in the train station to die near Calcutta, India, because her own stepmother poured acid into her eyes one night when Gill was sleeping, in an attempt to change Gill into a blind child singer who will get more money from tourists. Gill was intentionally blinded, but then was abandoned. Why? Because they found Gill had no talent in singing. She couldn't sing. So they abandoned this 4.5 child, blinded, starved to death in the train station. That's where this volunteer student identified Gill. Send me an email. From there, we started what we call the Kajal Project. And I think it's very fitting to tell the story of Kajal because that's what Kiwanis Club is about. It's about children. Men and women together in this club to devote our resources and heart for children. So we got hundreds of Nashillians involved in getting Kajal to America. And the night when Kajal was arriving, we had one foundation member, 94-year-old Wallace. He was bedridden, paralyzed. And he wheeled his wheelchair to the clinic, say, Ming, I want to give you this, you give to Kajal, she's arriving tonight. And I saw it was a music box. And Wallace, paralyzed, very sick on oxygen, he got himself out of the bed and made this box for Kajal. It was a music box. I said, why is the music box? Because Wallace said, put this on Kajal's cheek, wind it up when she arrived. So I appreciated it, I took the box. I approached Nashville Airport Authority. I said, could I go into the airport to greet Kajal? She's about to arrive. And they gave me special permission. So I was waiting in the terminal as Kajal and her caretaker, Grace, came off the plane. And Kajal was hanging the apron of Grace very, can you imagine a 4.5 years old, couldn't see, couldn't really hear because she did not speak English. So she was very afraid. Then I welcomed her and I did what Wallace asked me to do. I wandered in the music box and put on Kajal's cheek and the music started singing and she broke into a big smile. Then we took Kajal in, and because we need host families, Kenneth mentioned about our program started in last year for host families, because without host families, we cannot help blind, orphan children. Our foundation's focus is blind, orphan children. It's hard to imagine more deserving human beings than blind, orphan children. Foundation doctors donate our services, but the kid has to stay with someone, not just medical, but also living or other issues. So we found 3 host families for Kajal. And they took great care of Kajal. They actually fought against each other. They want to have Kajal. So we end up keep them peaceful, so they rotate. They all get to have Kajal and to take care of her. And we pray about Kajal's surgery, because I knew that Kajal was intentionally blinded. So the chance of sight restoration is very limited. So we prayed, and I was praying in earnest. Looking at Kajal remind me of my own suffering at a young age. And I want to do everything possible that I could to help her. So on the day of surgery, I opened the scar cornea, and I found something unexpected. The entire eyeball, the content was destroyed. I have helped many chemical injury patients, but most are adults, because when you get injury, alcohol or alkaline spreads towards you, you will squeeze your eye, run away. So the injury is more limited superficially. But in Kajal's case, she was held down on the bed by the stepmother with eyes pried open with acid pouring, with an intention to destroy the whole eyeball. Let the acid sits all through the entire structure. So I've never seen so damaged eye. I closed the eye and I was sweating all over. I was afraid of facing the 3 host families and the caretaker Grace, because injury is so difficult, so hard, it's impossible to repair. I became angry at my God. I could not understand why God is so loving and benevolent would let the most horrible situation happen to the most helpless human being. Why? Why didn't God just let even one little bit of structure of the eye remain intact so we could have at least a chance? Because one eye is completely destroyed. We only have one eye to work. I was angry at my own God. I came out of the operating room, I relayed to the 3 host families and Grace. I said, we did what we can, what we could, but this eye's too damaged. We may not be able to restore any sight, maybe just a little bit. They were very upset, everybody. In the ensuing months of healing, I kept on being asked by these families, the host families, oh, what's going to happen to Kajal? Can she see a little bit today? They are looking for answers from me as the surgeon, but when I look back, there's nobody behind me to answer the question. I, as a doctor, is supposed to have the answers, but I don't. I did not have answers. I was very mad at my God. I did not understand why God would allow such atrocity happen to someone so helpless. For a month, I was very depressed. Seeing Kajal gradually recover a little bit her sight. She can see a little bit shadow, but she became a little child that kind of picked up the life in America with 3 host families. I was happy to see her moving around, happier, but yet I knew we could have done so much more if the injury was not that severe. So for a month, I did not have peace with my God. I was angry. Then eyeball came, the foundation's annual gala eyeball. At the eyeball, we always feature one patient, so Kajal was the feature in that year's patient. This is almost 10 years ago. On stage, it was these 3 host families. They talk about their experience of taking care of Kajal. Each of them tell what they have done with little Kajal, how they helped her. Their kids are involved in helping Kajal as well. But I was sitting there listening. The 3 host families' experience of taking care of Kajal, I realized something for the first time. Because these families talk about not just how they help Kajal, but also how Kajal has helped them. They talk about how their own kids in America becomes more appreciative. Their little kid became a little bit less demanding, and because they see this little kid blind, suffering, came here in America and happier, and make the best out of what she had. They make their own children, those children of these 3 host families, appreciate what they have in America. Then I realized at the moment, listening to these host families, talking about not just how they help Kajal, but also Kajal has helped them, their own children, become more appreciative of what they have in America. I realized perhaps God's answer to our prayer sometimes may not be exactly the shape or form we want. Because I was angry at God because I prayed for Kajal's eyesight and it was not granted. But then I saw the impact of Kajal's suffering on so many other people, all these children of those host families. Kajal has made those children more appreciative of what they have in America. Then I realized that perhaps God has answered our prayer in a different way, in a larger context, in a more fundamental way. I look at the little Kajal wearing a little cute little skirt and still blind, but she's smiling because she is loved. I realized that sometimes as human beings, that even if no light could come from outside, light could emanate from within. To have God in your heart is a light in yourself, irrespective of the circumstance. And that's the goal of this book, is to encourage young people in this country to appreciate America, and no matter what the circumstance you're in, recognizing it is the light in your own heart. With God in your heart, it will truly give you that hope. So finally, my anger towards my God began to recede. I realized that maybe God has answered our prayer in different ways. You know how it is in life, sometimes when you pray for something, the challenge is what God what if God did not grant you what you are praying for? It's easy to keep our faith, believe when things are going well, or God give us what we want, but it is harder when we pray for God did not give us. How can we cope with that as a Christian? I realized in this case, Kajal had taught me to learn the larger context of what we pray for. That is Kajal's suffering. As much as I don't ever want to see that I'm so sympathetic and feel still so bad for her, that does have some positive effect, that is to help so many other children appreciate what they have. So when finally come to Kajal's turn, we give a microphone to Kajal. Kajal, say something. There are 500 eyeball attendees in downtown Nashville Hilton Hotel. Say something. Kajal took the microphone. She broke into a big smile. She had a little secret. Kajal, after she came to America, she was almost sad. She decided, because in her own little mind, when she was intentionally blind in India, then was abandoned because she was found she couldn't sing, so could not become a blind child singer. In her 4.5-year-old mind, she believed that she was abandoned because she couldn't sing. So all she wanted to do is to learn to sing. So after Kajal arrived in this country, she made friends with several children of the host families. Kajal learned to sing. So at that moment in the eyeball, I give her the microphone. I said, Kajal, say something. I expect her to say something in English, a language that she picked up a few months prior. And Kajal took the microphone, big smile. Actually, her picture of holding a microphone, big smile, was actually reported by Reuters. Her photo appeared in newspapers in over 70 countries. Thanksgiving 2007. Kajal took the microphone. She broke in a big smile because she had a secret. She could sing now. So at that moment, under the watchful eyes of 500 eyeball attendees, we all love Kajal so much, I was there, finally had a little bit more peace with my God, realizing God has answered my prayer. At the end, Kajal took the microphone. She sang a song. It was the same song that Wallace, the 94-year-old board member of the foundation, made into the little music box 7 months prior when I initially presented Kajal when she arrived. Kajal took this microphone. In her cute little skirt, she sang a song. And the name of the song that she sang was the same song that made into the music box that Wallace, the 94-year-old, gave to Kajal several months prior. The name of the song was Jesus Loves Me. Amen. I want to thank everyone for coming today. It is an honor and a humble pleasure and honor to receive this award. But I want to, through Kajal's story, to share with you that when we pray to God, sometimes God does not necessarily answer all the way we want it. At the end, it's not what we want matters, it's what God's will matters. At the end, human life is more valuable that perhaps through our own experience, own suffering, at the end, we want to give back. Thank you.